Hello, welcome back. This is Country 1913, and I am Let's Playing Gabriel Knight, Sins of the Father. In the last episode, we were talking to Dr. John here about historical voodoo, so let's keep going.
What happened when the West Indies slaves got here?
They brought voodoo with them.
So yeah, we're talking
The
about
native
voodoo.
slaves were more than
Historical
enthusiastic
voodoo.
about embracing it. It gave them power, Mr. Knight, if only in the form of a communal bond. Among the first meeting places were the Bayou Saint John and the shore of Lake Pontchartrain. The early voodoos were heavy snake worshippers, worshipping the one they called the Great Zombie.
Ooh, zombies, huh?
Tell me more about historical voodoo.
By 1817, the voodoo activities were beginning to cause fear among the white slave owners.
I can imagine.
An ordinance was passed to forbid slave gatherings except in designated public areas at designated times. The time was Sunday afternoons and the place, Congo Square. The slaves and free people of color gathered to dance simulations of their voodoo dances right in sight of Creole society. Of course, they also continued to meet in private for the real thing.
Ooh, the real thing. You know, this guy's voice is
Tell me
scary.
more about historical voodoo.
There were a variety of kings and queens at first, voodoo priests and priestesses. But from about 1830, a single power emerged. This was a voodoo queen named Marie Laveau.
Yeah,
Marie Laveau ruled voodoo in New Orleans for many years.
I remember her. So, are we done with Marie? Or...
Tell me more.
I've given you as much detail as I can, Mr. Knight. Look around the museum if you desire more information.
Alright, cool. Let's talk about current voodoo.
Tell me about current voodoo.
What's going on there?
Many people think of voodoo in terms of magic spells or gree-gree. That kind of practice is actually called hoodoo, and is only a part of true voodoo. Voodoo, the religion, has a strong following in New Orleans. In fact, it is growing quite rapidly. There are several voodoo churches or temples in the city, and others all across the United States.
I don't like it.
African Americans see it as a tradition all their own. Whites, and there are many in their religion, are attracted to it because they think it is exotic. I, personally, am more interested in the history of voodoo. Some of the new movements are copying Haitian or even African voodoo. But it is the voodoo of New Orleans that I find so intriguing.
Yeah, alright.
Tell me more about current voodoo.
There are many voodooians in New Orleans. They often do business selling gree-gree, telling fortunes, providing luck, and occasionally misfortune. Perhaps you would like to meet a voodooian. We refer those who seek a deeper experience with voodoo to a local practitioner, Madame Moonbeam.
Sure, I'd love to meet her.
She lives on the corner of Orleans and Dauphine. I will call her and tell her you might stop by.
Great, thanks.
Alright, cool. So I think that's
Tell me,
You have tapped.
Alright, so let's talk about Marie Laveau.
tell me more about Marie Laveau.
There were actually two Marie Laveaux, mother and daughter. Most people thought they were the same woman. Her continued youth added to the mystique.
Oh, like Vlad the Impaler.
The original, the mother, was also known as Widow Paris. It was she that began the empire. When the Widow Paris began to practice, there were many voodooians in the city. By 1830, she was voodoo queen of all New Orleans.
Tell me more about Marie Laveau.
The Widow Paris was a hairdresser for rich Creole ladies. She also paid household servants to spy for her. Between the two, she knew everything about everyone who mattered in New Orleans.
Really?
She was not above using her information to appear psychic, to intimidate, or even to blackmail.
Oh, it's kind of
You
like...
sound as though you admire her.
For a black woman in the mid-1800s to gain power is an incredible thing, Mr. Knight. However, she achieved it.
Tell me
like,
more about Marie Laveau.
She kept a pet snake, danced with it too. She held traditional voodoo ceremonies out by the lake. She took herself seriously, very seriously. But she was not above selling tickets for her events to curiosity seekers. She was not above using voodoo any way she could to make money. That is for certain.
Really?
But if she had been in another line of work, in another age, that would have been interpreted as entrepreneurial genius rather than a sign of fraudulence.
Hey, you don't need to convince me. I admire anyone that can actually make a living.
Anything else?
Tell me more about Marie Laveau.
It was Marie Laveau who defined the voodoo that is truly and uniquely the voodoo of New Orleans.
Oh, yeah.
She invented hundreds, if not thousands of spells, potions, charms, and incantations. These form the basis of the modern practice, not to mention the folk tradition of hoodoo.
Hoodoo. The babe with
Tell
the
me more about Marie Laveau.
Her daughter, Marie Glapion, took over when the widow Paris got old. Most people thought it was the same Marie Laveau. Both Maries encouraged that point of view. The widow Paris died in 1881. Marie Glapion had been reigning a long time by then. After the death of the widow Paris, other voodoo queens surfaced, and by 1890, the cult was fragmented again. Marie Glapion just sort of faded away.
Shame.
Tell me more about Marie Laveau.
The Laveau tomb, where one or both of the Maries are believed to be buried, is in St. Louis Cemetery No. 1. It is a popular shrine for practitioners and tourists.
So it's pretty much where Gabriel's
I
family
myself
is.
take tours through the cemetery on a regular basis.
Really? Do you have any running this week?
No, but the cemetery is open to the general public as well.
Yeah, so we can just go there if we want. So let's talk about hoodoo.
What exactly is hoodoo?
Hoodoo refers to magic folk traditions of the South. Hoodoo is a bastard of voodoo. Many of the Grigri are similar, but hoodoo does not have the religious aspects of voodoo.
Is there anything else I should know about voodoo?
Not if your interest is primarily in voodoo. Hoodoo is of interest to those who study rural folk traditions, but it will not aid you in understanding true voodoo.
Alright, so yeah, that's about it, I think. Anyways, we can look around here. They got...
Dang, I've always wanted a skeleton with a bowl on its head.
Yeah, there's like...
The back wall displays various voodoo items, such as
an anatomically correct voodoo doll with pins strategically placed.
Now, why does that remind me of Grace?
Right, so if we come over here and we operate this thing here, it's a good idea to operate this, at least know where it is.
What does this do? See.
Yeah, alright, so it's good to know what that's all about.
Thanks a lot. Bye now.
Walk carefully out there, Mr. Knight.
Yeah, so they got all kinds of weird shit over here. So I guess let's head to the cemetery. St. Louis Cemetery number 1. Alright, so let's see what the hell this is.
The marks are reddish in color and reminds Gabriel of crosses. They look like they've been here a few days at least.
Interesting. Let's pick this up here.
Gabriel does.
Yeah, it's a red rock we might need later.
A plaque on the tomb reads, Lavo.
There you go, that's her thing. Let's go this way, shall we? Before we talk to this guy. Or maybe he's gonna walk over. Alright, so let's head this way.
The Wright family tomb. Several of Gabriel and Grant's family members are laid to rest here.
Ooh, interesting. Can I... There we go. And let's walk this way and see what else is over here. I believe it's 3 screens. Yeah, okay, so this is the Getty family.
The imposing tomb is elaborately labeled Getty. An angel draped dramatically over a stone plinth marks the entrance to a large tomb.
So yeah, the reason why that they have like tombs like this in New Orleans is because I guess it gets flooded. And so if they have the bodies in a tomb, the bodies won't like come out and everything. It's interesting. Like, you know, they do have tombs in other places, but...
I'm sorry to bother you.
You got something to say, son?
Mind if I pick your brain a minute?
Go ahead. These folks ain't in no hurry.
So let's talk to this guy. I've got his
What
name.
can you tell me about voodoo?
They say it was part of an old religion from Africa, brought here by slaves.
Yeah, that's true.
What can you tell?
I don't really care to talk about it. I don't do it none myself.
Well, that's good.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Ain't it just awful, them finding those bodies with voodoo things around them?
He's like a
I don't
ZZ
think there's
Top.
any real voodoo going on. Somebody's trying to cover their tracks is all.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
Seems like everybody want to visit New Orleans at least once in their life.
Yeah, that's true.
And they love the cemetery too. I see tourists in here every day of the year.
Interesting.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
There's lots of things to see here, but none are as beautiful as the St. Louis Cemetery #1.
Do you know anything about snakes?
Snakes? I see snakes around here all the time. Most of them ain't poisonous, of course.
Interesting.
Do you know?
I don't mind snakes myself, but lots of folks are afraid of them.
I don't like him.
Do you have any idea what caprice sans cœur means?
No, can't say that I do.
Alright, what about Schottenjäger?
Have you ever heard the word Schottenjäger?
I don't know what you talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about either.
Tell me about yourself.
My name is Toussaint Gervais. I'm the watchman here at St. Louis #1.
What exactly do you do here?
Oh, I keep the place tidy, cause, but a big part of my job, too, is looking out for the grievers, you know. People come to pay their respects, and they need looking out for. Sometimes they so grief-bound, they don't know what they doing.
What do you know about...
Do you know anything about Marie Laveau?
Sure. She was the voodoo queen of New Orleans. A powerful voodooie and a powerful sorceress.
Yeah.
Believers still come to her tomb, you know. They write secret marks on the walls, leaving offerings in there. Then there's the tourists. They come out of curiosity.
Yeah, that's
As a matter of fact, that big Dr. John fella from the Voodoo Museum, he's here at least once a day. But Marie Laveau's tomb ain't
John's
the
here
only
once a
one
day.
the believers visit and make markings and leave offerings at.
Yeah, where else? Anything else?
What else can you...
Her tomb's on all our tombs. Even the Baptists come round here to gawk. Course, you may not know this, but some of the real serious voodoo types argue that she ain't in this one at all, but down in an unmarked tomb in #3. It's all the same to me, I say. Save me a lot of cleanup work if she weren't here, if you ask me.
You said there were other marked tombs?
Yep. I seen bull hearts left on tombs and a nest of vulture feathers, plates of peas and corn grease.
Wow.
Animal parts, human parts even, it looked like. Male parts, if you get my meaning.
Oh, I get it.
And
That's
this at
creepy.
one of the great family crypts, mind you. Odd how them types just pick a spot and stick to it.
That's gross.
What other tombs get marked? Can you show me?
No, I ain't one for naming names. I don't like to encourage that kind of thing. It's distressing to the families, and rightly so. Don't know how that sort of thing gets started. Why folks come to start leaving stuff at that one spot. But it happens all the same.
Tell me something about St. Louis Cemetery.
Yeah, anything good?
Number 1.
You know why the dead are buried in tombs and not in the ground, don't you? The water table's too high. Them coffins would float right out of their graves. Them dead would go floating right down into the water. Of course, if it were Mardi Gras, nobody'd even notice.
Tell me something about St. Louis Cemetery. Number 1.
It's a historical place. People buried in here from the Civil War and back further, too. Take a look around, you'll see.
All right. Thank you, sir. You're a nice guy. All right, so what I need to do is come over here and look at this stuff. And what I gotta do here now is I gotta take my sketchbook and I gotta sketch this.
I want a copy of these strange marks.
Yeah, maybe I can figure out what the hell they are. You know? Alright, so let's skedaddle. Alright, so now we're gonna head over to Madame Moonbeam's residence. She's all about voodoo. The babe with the power of voodoo.
Welcome, Seeker. You must be the one Dr. John called me about.
Yeah.
I guess so. My name is...
Wait, Gabriel Knight.
You're too quick for me.
Actually, Dr. John told me. You have come to the right place, Mr. Knight. Tell me how I can help.
How about let's talk? Well, let's show her the symbols, I guess.
Does this mean anything to you?
I can be of no help to you, Seeker.
Alright, let's see. Maybe I gotta show her the page.
Do these symbols mean anything to you?
Ah, the voodoo code. It is very secret, yes. I studied it with my mentor, the great Queen Tabitha.
Really? Great. Can you tell me what it says?
Let's see. Well, some of it is nonsense, I'm afraid. Whoever wrote this wasn't very good.
That's all right. Just tell me what it says.
It starts with a D and a J, and then... Okay, this part makes sense. It says, conclave tonight, bring... then there's more nonsense. F-W-E-T-K-A-S-H. Well, that last bit might mean cash. Fresh cash? It doesn't make much sense.
That's okay, thanks.
At least you decoded some of it.
DJ Conclave. K-A-S-H. It's a start.
Yeah, it is.
I'm happy I could help.
Alright, so let's talk to Madame Moonbeam.
Could I ask you a few questions?
See if we
Of
can
course, Seeker.
get some stuff out of her.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
My practice is mainly selling charms and potions with magic power, such as gree-gree and voodoo oils. You know, everything from unrequited love to wandering spouses to winning a lawsuit. But my spells and charms are powerful, and they work.
Really? That's cool.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Why, that has nothing to do with me and my clientele. But I can tell you that you should stay as far from it as possible. There is badness there. Very bad.
I can imagine.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
New Orleans is the center of voodoo practice in the United States.
Yeah, that's true. Anything else?
What can you tell me about New
Have
Orleans?
you always lived here?
It is a fascinating city with many dark secrets.
Ooh, dark secrets.
Do you know anything about snakes?
Snakes? You mean like my beloved Grimwald? She's a python, you know. Quite deadly in the wrong hands. I was trained by one of the great voodoo queens to learn how to hypnotize and handle snakes.
Well, that's cool, I guess.
Do you have any idea what Caprice Saint Coeur means?
No. No, I don't.
Sounds like you do.
Do you know anything about Marie Laveau?
Oh, yes. She was the first of the great voodoo queens.
Do you know anything about Marie Laveau?
She ruled voodoo in New Orleans for 100 years, they say.
Have you ever heard the word Schottenjäger?
I don't know anything about that.
Oh, well, of course you don't.
Tell me about yourself.
Yes? What would you like to hear?
Let's hear about how'd you get in
How'd you
it?
get into this business?
Where have you born?
I trained in the voodoo arts for many years with the great Queen Tabitha.
Really? Who's she?
You have never heard of her? For shame! I can see you know little of the world of magic.
I know.
I'm beginning to get that impression, yes.
I don't know shit. You know why I'm...
What kind of people come to see you?
Seekers after the truth, such as yourself.
Do you do anything else?
Hobbies.
I am a voodoo yen, and that is plenty. It takes much spiritual effort.
Do you make any money?
How many voodoo yens are there?
No one knows exactly. Many practice in secret. There are probably hundreds. But of course, the level and the power of the voodoo yens differ greatly, depending on their training and natural gifts.
Right. Yeah, alright, let's hear a
Tell
little
me
bit more.
anything at all.
I haven't always lived in New Orleans. I came here from Kansas as a young
Oh,
woman.
look at that. Knew
Tell
you
me
weren't
anything at
pure
all.
New Orleans.
I began studying voodoo more than 20 years ago. I am well versed in the magical art.
Alright, well that's good.
I can't.
Very well.
Alright, let's talk to you about Greek.
Give me an example of a gris-gris.
All right. Here's an old one. Take a lodestone and some brimstone to a crossroads at midnight. Light the brimstone with a match, and a spirit will come and give you advice in gambling.
Wow, that's a weird one.
Give me an example of a gris-gris.
Here's an old hoodoo Dr. Gree-Gree. Place a dime under your client's tongue, and if the client is under a spell of any kind, the dime will turn black.
And you'll taste metal for weeks.
Give me an example of a gris-gris.
To send someone away, take a rotten egg and write that person's name on it 9 times.
On the egg?
You can also write on it where you want to send that person to. Take it and throw it against his door at midnight.
Alright, let's talk about Grimwald.
About Grimwald.
What about her?
Where'd you get Grimwald?
She belonged to a traveling reptile show. She was being terribly mistreated, so I offered to buy her.
Oh, that's
She's
nice.
named after a spirit guide I had once. The spirit Grimwald was a very powerful female snake priestess in Egyptian times.
Grimwald doesn't sound Egyptian.
I only know what the spirits tell me. Monsieur, I am sure they know better than we.
Alright, so let's learn about more Grimwald.
How'd you learn to handle Grimwald?
I told you a great voodoo queen taught me. she learned from Marie Laveau herself.
I doubt it.
Oh, fascinating. Would you consider giving me one of Grimwald's scales?
No, I couldn't do that. You might do some gree-gree of your own, no? One must be very careful with such things. Hair clippings, nail parings, and snake scale.
Alright.
Are you...
I told...
Alright, so let's hear...
How about showing me how you handle Grimwald?
Really? You would like to see me dance, perhaps?
Yeah.
That would be swell.
Yeah, dance.
I won't make you wait, Monsieur Knight.
Alright, so while she's dancing, we need to grab... As you
No
see,
matter what you see, do not be frightened.
You see these things over here?
I'll give it my best shot.
You gotta get it. It's a snake scale. You gotta let her do her dance. This poor snake's probably like...
Magentia's room is unlike. Gabriel grabs the shed snake skin while Magenta is otherwise occupied.
Yeah, that was lovely.
They are truly inspiring, isn't it?
Yeah, very.
That's certainly one word for it.
Alright, so let's take a look at this thing, huh?
Gabriel magnifies the shed skin from Magenta Moonbeam's snake. The snake scales are hued brown. They don't match the scale from Lake Pontchartrain.
So yeah, she didn't do it. That's good to know. And you know what, let me, well, alright. Anything else? How about... Does she know this?
Does this mean anything to you?
These are magic symbols. Deep magic.
Really? Have you seen them before?
No?
Then how do you know they're magic symbols?
Seeker, my eyes are unveiled to see truly that which is in front of me.
Uh-huh. Thanks. Tons.
Alright, so we're pretty much done here. Let's leave.
Well, I guess I'll be gone now.
We did everything we need to do.
May the protection of the snake god go with you.
Thanks.
I'd rather not a snake god protect me. Honestly. And in the next episode, we're going to actually head somewhere else. I'm going to say this is GK4. Since, I didn't save the last time. But yeah, I'm going to stop the video here. And the next episode, we'll head over to Malia Getty's house. This has been Kenja 1913. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.